Hello everyone, my name is Pavel Kulakov. I'm head of information security in SDAC. We deliver cargo around the globe, and we are a very productive development team. Apart from other things, all the services we have are developed in-house. Today, we'll be talking about security champions. A small caveat. Here it is. I'll be talking about the success story, some background. The second thing, I won't be talking about some horror stories. And the third thing, most importantly, security champions are not only in development. We are talking about a standalone role of professionals in their domains, those who care for information security in a company. This is not exactly about development. We'll be talking about development as well, because we have quite a lot of it. We have a big team and quite a lot of products, but I'll be talking about security champions, primarily, well, broader than just development. We'll be talking about the issues, what this term stems from, and who should be invited to this role. A spoiler. We don't deal with cars. This is just a good picture describing the overall idea. A few words about myself. I've been dealing with information security for quite some time. I was professionally trained, and following the 24th of February this year, I understood that I'm really doing it, because before that, this was just a kind of hobby. So this is the timeline, how we do information security starting with the 24th of February. So pretty much everything has happened. I believe you all read news, so no comment here. So you cannot ask me about your parcel, where it is lost. So what has changed globally and to our company? So they're cracking everyone, and they're cracking everyone quite brutally. Hacktivism. This is not just based on your personal ideas, like I don't like the company, let me try to spoil their life. We've been targeted and are still targeted just because since 15 years we've been present where we have been present out of the 20 years of our presence. So maybe people are irritated with the SDAC title. They can say, okay, they say, okay, let's send it to this Telegram chat, let us go and hack SDAC. Well, that's up to them, who knows. Some other things we have seen. The support of hacktivism from the Western partners. So they have these tricky ways trying to use to hack us. Well, we haven't seen everything in the public reports. So there have been some new things we haven't seen before. Another important thing is that everyone will have their fair share. Well, what I mean is that, well, some targets, they kind of ordered to small hosting, not to two, but some other guys, they said, okay, we've been a targeted attack victim. And there are some constraints shown here, and that's what we are all facing. So we don't have enough information security experts. Technologically speaking, we are behind versus the IT guys, the information security guys, we are behind. We don't have a strong security culture. We're talking about awareness and changing passwords. because some say that every 90 days you should check their passwords. Well, that's all the information security culture we have now. The final thing to mention as a constraint is that the security on paper is not enjoying any trust anymore. So we cannot say we are doing this because page 75 of this book coming from the head office in the US, they say do it this way. No. Well, it's there, but it is not applicable anymore. Well, a few words about motivation of whoever. Well, this is pretty important. I mean, why people might want to become security champions. There are two types of motivation: money and non-monetary motivation. In terms of money, it's clear. The more you pay, the more people do it. They achieve things, and you increase the salary every quarter, every year, or every 10 years, so they stay with you. And we have, a pat on the back, a picture with the top manager, say vice president, and so on. And there are some other types of motivation, and that is engagement. A very good example, the Kiwi company. I really like them, I respect them. They have innovative entrepreneurship. So I believe that many of you know what Ulners is, and it came from Kiwi. The guys found some internal resource for this, and the CTO, Kirill Yermakov, at that time was okay to share this resource. So we are not building our own Ulners. That's not the case. On the other hand, I can tell you that we help people in many things they do. So we are mindfully and consciously providing resources to them. And this includes security. We don't come to say, well, guys, do this or that. We say, okay, guys, what do you think? What will be the safest and securest way to do what you are doing? And another thing, which is based on what is happening globally. So, I believe that many of you have seen this gut from the machine approach. So this is not working anymore. What I mean is that the technologies for information security, the ones which were used for a lot of enterprise solutions, so they are not with us anymore. I mean, these technologies are disappearing here, and we have the things where people are trying to build now. I mean, input substitution, input independence, input hates. Some say that we've been dumped. Oh, okay. There are two things: the stuff and the processes. And now we should focus on the way people, if we talk about the hierarchies, so they are from their silos, or they are from the process structures where they build values. So we see how these people are using the technologies they know and understand to perform the processes we have to support the company. So we all know that the IT component of this, the automated business process, okay, the company can really work based on this business process. So a lot of technologies have fallen away, and the information security area has been most badly hit here, I believe, because we don't have Cisco, Fortinet, Juniper with us anymore, but we have Checkpoint, so let's thank them for them. But we'll have SSPT2 and all the other in-house solutions. I will reach security champions soon. So these are the things I have to say. Well, how have we reached this? The functions and processes. So this is a work of genius. So this is in terms of application of force. So the three or two things like IT and security, business IT and security, IT security, IT security and development, so whatever. You can find many points here. So unless all these forces are in one direction, unless we have coordinated goals like automation and secure automation, and security is part of this automation. It's not like you are making automation and they will try to bolt on some security. No, that's not the way to do it. So the shared resources. If we don't have a single decision-making point on resources, we will not have any coordinated goals. If we don't have coordinated goals, we're not going to have any engagement. So you should understand it. So now, well, in our case, I'm lucky. So I was in a proper place in the proper time. When facing the general threat for the whole company, we managed to quickly make all the hierarchy support the security guys, the DevOps, the management, and so on. So this is the positive experience I'm going to share with you. The relationships. I mentioned the silos today. So there are several systems like IT, security, business, security, and so on. So, and if they treat each other based on the hierarchy, so one is above the other and they don't overlap. So in this structure, if the IT here, development is there, here are the legal guys, and so on and so forth. And if they come together at the general director or owner level, this is not going to work out because we have the direct escalation line. We don't have any horizontal lines. To have an effective relationship system inside and to build the motivational part, we should use the overlapping approach, or ideally even matching approach. Then it will be one department. Well, there should be some common base. And we believe that information security is exactly the cement bringing together several things. So we've had some conflicts between the DevOps and information security because, historically speaking, they didn't like each other much. And when we had to sort out the security issues for the whole company, they managed to understand each other pretty quickly. And these connections, which had been missing, started to emerge. A few examples. I believe that many of you know this. So this is the hierarchy, when these things don't come together. Well, they're all right. The security guys say, okay, send us the tickets. We want to know the whole audit trail. The support would say, okay, here are the passwords, here are the certificates, now sit there and wait. And the same holds for the development guys. This is just an example of how it is done when you don't have mutual understanding, when you have these hierarchies. So this is a clown, as you can see. Well, this is both funny and horrible. So it's funny because everybody has done his or her piece. But in terms of information security, well, this is bullshit. Pardon my French. Well, and this is quite scary. If we look at this, so if you see the things which are described through the lens of hierarchy, well, the security say it's all in the tickets. Okay, the support do it through the tickets. So it's just the way we do it. So I believe many of you can mention dozens of cases like that. And this is the result of the functional relationship. I had some innovation, but it's not working, and this is the reason why I'm pissed off now. Okay, it's not working. Let's proceed. How to pick the right guy for the security champion position? You can do it the easy way. We can say, okay, we want to develop the security champions here, everywhere, not only in development but also in DevOps and everywhere. Give us someone. Whom will they give you? Right, the youngest one. Or the most idle one. A junior guy. Okay, they'll give you the weakest one. Well, he's not exactly crippled, but he just joined us yesterday. And they tell us, okay, this is your security champion. Or if you say that you want a senior, well, the senior guy will tell you, well, guys, I have the self-fulfillment as my goal, and I have the, interplanetary project. I don't want to deal with it. Okay, so before you look for the people to take this position, you should understand that this is not a position, this is not a level, and this is not salary. This is motivation and some beliefs. So this is someone who cares for the employer. Well, in my case, I was lucky. I mean, the guys and the team who work for SDAC, those who built up SDAC IT, so I would say about 80% of them are those who care. They've been there for more than 1 or 2 years. So they are the core team. And this is the positive experience, as I mentioned. How did we pick the guys? Those who wanted to, by the way. We are talking about their personal motivation. They had a need to understand, to learn things, and to develop. It's easy to identify. These people come to you with 1 billion questions, and you just don't tell them, oh, go away. You just listen and answer. And I'll tell you how you do it later. Some animation. Have a look at this, have a proper look at this, and in the teams you communicate with as head of information security, or, well, if you have a mod role in terms of information security, have a good look at them. When you have an incident, we somehow find the threat actors. So you do it the same way, but you don't look here for the threat actor. You should find a good guy, with good virtues. So this is the guy who wanted to help. You look puzzled somehow. Please ask the questions. I'm ready to answer the questions on the go. I have 15 minutes and I have covered half of the slides, by the way. Okay. Security champions. They're about culture. You cannot just come and say, it's your turn, as I mentioned. And there are several conditions to be met. The conditions. The people should be loyal. And so this should be voluntary based, and the people should be loyal. You cannot just appoint somebody a security champion, because the vice will leave you in 2 months, for instance, because he has a good offer, or he is moving to some other place. So, based on these 2 conditions, you should follow 2 rules. Number 1, you should have 1 security champion in a team. You don't need any competition. Well, you, as the information security guy, you're also a resource, a big one. And you are quite free. So they have some issues. And you can hide anything behind the word security. even deploy the server anywhere. Why? For secure development. So you just do it. And the second important rule is no sanctions. So even if the security guy has done something wrong, the way you see it, this is your area of responsibility. Well, this is your stuff, but it is not exactly yours. Okay, the guy is loyal and willing, ready to develop security in terms of technology and technological implementation to make the processes more secure. Go back to slide 4. But the guy is not reporting to you, so you cannot impose any sanctions on him or her. So this is an important rule to observe. And the postulates, 2 of them. No management, but influence. So you can use engagement and you can try to convince people, because you don't manage them directly. They are not reporting to you. All these 3 things bring authority and accountability. Okay, this is for your reading at leisure. So the important thing is that you cannot delegate accountability. Information security. It is your cup of tea anyway, or mine in this case. So even if I have made somebody part of this information security support team, say the DevOps guys, who come to me to say, we have Kubernetes, how to make it a little bit more secure. Okay, we just discuss it, find a solution, here it is. So even if they do something wrong, or they start managing secrets and they are stolen, anyway, you are the one to be responsible and accountable. Not them, but you, because you were engaged in these activities by trying to engage the other ones. So this is a two-way story. And you should have some inner confidence that you can do it. And you should have the support from the decision-making who kind of decide on your employment. So they give you some room for maneuver. Whom can you engage? Well, you can engage everybody. This includes development, testing, DevOps, DBA, and so on and so forth. And you should try to engage testers. This is quite fun. So usually they use auto tests for everything, or they just click through the interface based on their test assignment. And we ask them to look at the length of the passwords and how they are stored, where they are documented, and so on. Well, in other case, that was a lot of fun. At preprod, it's all masking, then it's plain text in the base. Okay. Otherwise, we wouldn't have learned about it. Okay, DBA, Kubernetes, and so on. Administrators, network guys, well, information security traditionally has been fighting with them for segmentation of the network, the rights of the firewalls. So I believe these guys would be the trickiest ones to be engaged. Architects, it's more difficult. We don't have many of them. They have worked somewhere before and they don't like information security, because information security is a kind of a limit, something imposing limits on the creator's mind. And so they're even harder to deal with, the administrators and the network guys, because they have a lot of dreams and fantasies. And it looks nice when they say, we've been to the board meeting, this has been approved by the business, that's why we're doing it. Okay, let's do it secure. And again, we should find some common ground. The most important slide. How? Communication. I've been lucky. All of that has been built in this environment, so in this situation, when we became a target for a lot of parties. How to do it in your normal life? Well, you communicate and you show the human face you have. Well, the previous slide, in terms of the ones to be engaged. Well, I might assume that we have heads of information security who understand development. Okay, I can assume that the same guy understands testing. Okay. I can hardly assume that, apart from that, he or she understands DevOps, and then DBA, maybe he or she understands network and administration, but no architecture. Well, what am I driving at? To build it, you need to engage the people into the tasks you have and change your paradigm. It's not like you do this or that because we have a document saying so. It's kind of seeking for advice. What would you do here? So you remember technology. So the technology is not there anymore. And the people you have now, the developers, the testers, the DBA guys, DevOps, the network guys, they are the core of security you want to build. Since they are the only ones to know how the processes work and how they can work effectively for them and securely for you when you don't have any external support, including the safety bulletins and so on. Okay, we have a single point of ingress, for instance. For 24 hours, I'm responsible for everything which is incoming. So the email, the messengers. So we have a lot of people. Anybody can send to anyone. And I have 24 hours to answer this. Now, this takes a lot of personal time. On the other hand, people know that in terms of information security, they are not left alone. Okay, the nuts and bolts of this. Have the meetups and stand-ups, the guilds and the meetings, whatever. Just talk. You can come to people to ask, guys, how are you doing it? Why are you doing it this or that way? So, God forbid, you should never come and say, do it a different way because another methodology is saying this or that. People are going to do it. So you'll have bad enemies and your life will be difficult. The single-stop approach. We have this for the corporate messenger. We have a group available to everyone, so anyone can ask a question. And we have the email address, and there we can send the anonymous. Well, in the corporate email environment, you can hardly have anything anonymous. But there, well, what's said there stays there, so anyone can send any email. And, well, it's not about complaining, it's about seeking advice. And solve their problems using the methods you know. And you should never be afraid of coming and asking of their ways to solve your problem. Since the overlap of these models of thinking and decision-making gives you some interesting ideas. Well, I have dealt with information security for all my professional life, and I can face a problem I cannot surmount. And for some other guys, they know how to overcome the issue for quite some time. So this is not a problem anymore to them. Well, guys, you scare me. The output of all that. We've talked about the virtual CISO to be later. This is not implemented yet. We're approaching this. We have security champions for every hierarchy, one person in a team. We have quite a lot of testers. In the future, they can become kind of avatar or a representative on information security. Why? This is because we have a lack of staff. We don't have people. And here we can see the people who come here and say, we care, we are ready, we want, share the ABCs with us. So you shouldn't send them for the 512 hours of the state-supported program, of training. So this can kill all the information security interest. But you can share with them some videos, you can invite them to a conference to pay for this participation, say their PhDs, why not? Well, information security guys, they have a resource which can be used not only for information security. Well, I mean, the training budget. Okay, you can use it for 2-3 security champions, or those who can have the potential. You can send them to their PhDs. I have some of my guys running around, by the way. Well, this is not done yet. That's our plan for the future. So we want each of the domains and teams to have someone representing information security and talking about it to the head of information security. I mean, we have this bottom-up approach. So we had a threat. We developed this institute of motivated people who care. We give information to them. We share with them the knowledge in terms of information security. We invest our time. Prioritize their requests, share with them the materials, and then these people can develop into small CISOs. Well, this is closer to the information security, I would say. So the information security expert, well, a small one, well, not exactly that. So they will be kind of avatars. Well, they kind of represent these ideas locally. Okay, based on our organizational structure and global distribution, we have 26 branches globally. A representative like that is something we need for them to tell us about the local issues they might face, because they can see it better where they are. And we are quite big, we have 60,000 people. An issue which was recently raised, and I believe we are going to have a round table here on it, and this is about the virtual CISOs, the avatars. Here we don't have any conflict with virtualization of those responsible for information security. Well, any information security guy should work in 2 domains. Culture. This is for the within work, and authority for the outside. So inside you have the culture of trusted relationships, and you can also invite external experts using your external links. I know a lot of information security heads, and I can tell you that based on my experience, recently heads of information security have changed the marketing materials which came from the big vendors on how you should do it. They're talking about the internal consumers more, asking them about the way they want it, in terms of convenience and so on. Conclusions. So, this is our success story, and this happened for one reason. Because the information security in a tough time for the company when it was targeted, well, we showed our face to those we are working for. Because we couldn't find 17 OPSECs, it's hard to find a good expert. We didn't have time even to breathe in, catch our breath. So, we have a company with a shield, 3 letters, so we couldn't ask the company because these guys departed, all of them. So the old ways, the old security didn't work anymore. Well, that's why in our case we were developing our internally faced security experts. Thank you. Okay, Mike, please. You want to know why security champions? Well, my question is straightforward. You say that you have quite a lot of people inside the company. So, do you have any contractors? I mean, those who work for you, but in another company. I mean, in offices or some contractors. So, do you need security champions in this type of, say, departments or branches? Are you going to develop them there? Do you have any concerns? Like a contractor, okay, we'll train the contractor, 2 months, so we'll have some other contractor to train. Well, about 90 minutes ago, we had a round table in terms of supply chain. And my question is about trust. So if you want to build the security of your products and solutions, and you're afraid that you'll be left alone by this contractor, so maybe you shouldn't be building security there. Maybe you should think a little bit and focus on some other things. So if you're afraid that you'll be left alone in a difficult time, well, I'm talking about the staff rotation, for instance, with a contractor. Say, today you have one guy for one project, another guy for another project, then they're replaced, but this guy has been trained and he's gone to work for somebody else. Well, training. That's an old joke. The CEO is talking to the HR head. Okay, if we train them and they leave us, and the CEO says, and if we don't train and they stay, what will happen then? Okay, you teach them, they leave you. Okay. Well, these are the costs you have to bear. That's natural attrition. So people are better, people are more clever. So you're ready to train the contractors. Are you buying or selling now? Well, seriously. Well, that's okay. That's fine. Yes. I believe this is okay. Okay, thank you. My idea as well. Thank you. Any other questions? I believe we have about 10 minutes. Hello. Thank you. I'd like to hear your thoughts on gamification in terms of the process of looking for the security champions. Say we have a brief CTF inside the company with some merch, and so you invite the developers and so on. And those who win some good prizes, do some interesting things in solving problems, you can give them the merch prize and you can suggest they take part in this activity. This is bribery. Well, to an extent. Why? Well, the approach is like that. You know, you should be honest and you should have an open position. I mean, I'm talking about myself. If I want to lure somebody this way to have the CTF with the merge and so on, I'll have, issues like that. Well, I made the merge for the CTF participation, but this is not the merge for working as security champions. This is to make them interested. Okay. You're talking about the internal CTF with some awards. Yeah, some awards. So that's why the merge and not the money and not something else. This is for people to be interested, to go and to spend their time they could have invested elsewhere. Well, I believe that our people have a lot of merge. You just come to the warehouse and take what you want. Well, maybe. Well, I would say plus 4 days for your vacation. You win the CTF, so you have 4 days off. Here I am. I'm sorry, I was looking there. Thank you very much. That's really cool. Thank you very much. Here is my question. We have a volunteer saying, okay, I want to be the security champion in your team. What will you offer? Apart from the open the window, the contacts, 24 hours. So what will you offer to make these guys really security oriented? The tools, say some software, or is his or her growth dependent on themselves? Well, it depends on the team they belong to. Okay, this is a developer who is not always for security. Okay, a developer. Give them the tool. What kind of tool? Could you share your experience? Okay. Say people were developing using C and they used the 11th version. Share version 17, and there you have the security variables and classes to get rid of the problems in the code. So if you have the statistical code checking, so you can reduce the effects there. Okay, and can you trust the guy with the release, for instance? Before the release, we have the assessed test, and then who will rectify the issues? Okay, and whom else can I trust? Apart from those we can rely on in-house. If the guy says voluntarily that he or she is ready to share the time and invest the time for code review, look for bugs and flows, and this is not in my budget, and they are doing it voluntarily and on their own, I should just buy them some coffee so that they do it. Okay, thank you. Any other tools? Can you share anything? You mean in development? I mean, to make them security. Okay, there are many options here. If we are talking about any team out of the 8 teams I mentioned, well, some reference books, some articles you have read, so you can give them a list. Or you have translated an article and published it in Confluence, and you have translated a VASP if it hasn't been done before. So you show them the other side. It's not just the way it's happening now, like you are hit with a hammer and told not to do this or that. And you can tell them, try to do this way or that way. Or you can tell them, I'm going to do it this way. You, as a professional in development, developer, DBA, so what would you recommend? What shall we do this to reach this level? So this works greatly. You can tell them, well, my DBA friend, so this is the way I have it now, and I want it now. And, well, I don't know how to do this or that. Tell me how to do it, and he'll tell you. Give me a second, here is some beer, so you're holding it, and the guy is doing something. This is a great thing. Here's the email you can send your CV. Hello. So many interesting things. Here's a situation. You join a team and you tell them, guys, the security champion, and so on and so forth. All beautiful. And they tell you, well, the security guy, we have enough stuff without you. Get lost. Okay, what to do if they don't want you? How to, well, drink a lot with them. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's very good. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, security champions will be more about IT. Have you considered the security business partners, so that you have a broader scope of the projects and look at the business risks at the high level? No, we haven't done it. Well, I believe so. This is the PowerPoint information security officer. Sometimes I do this, and sometimes it's the Excel information security officer. You know, it doesn't work. Okay. Okay, you say one guy in a team as a security champion, and what is effective? I mean, the ratio 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 per team, irrespective. So the team size 100, 1 per team. They will sort it out. Trust. Okay, the first row. Place 6. Thank you. Okay, the security champion. Is it more like a coach who comes and talks and asks questions to understand a better way to do it, shares it with the developers or administrators, or is it a playing coach who can find out things? And why coaches? Why two coaches? Okay, we have a coach and we have a playing coach. In terms of security in football, we have 22 guys running there, and they're not coaches. Okay, the manager or the captain. Okay, this is okay. Do they do something on their own? Sure, they do. They do. A professional in their field. Okay, if it's an admin, so they know, they show, and they can come and they can set it. Yeah, and they'll tell you how they did it. Document it instead of you, and tell you how the incidents should be identified this way. Thank you. Be my guest. Thank you. The best question came from this lady to the left. Okay, thank you very much. The best to all of you. Stay